I'm Chris Myers in Los Angeles. In a moment, we'll go up close with Bills quarterback Doug Flutie. He's led the Bills to 3 straight wins. We'll talk about his amazing career path. But first, a quick check on today's headlines with Robin Roberts. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Chris. Later on SportsCenter at 5:45 Eastern, 2:45 Pacific, Mike Piazza now has 91 million reasons to love New York. That's how much the All-Star catcher will be paid by the Mets over the next 7 years. His deal averages $13 million a season, a new record high for baseball. Piazza could have become a free agent. Playing for the Dodgers, Marlins, and Mets this year, he hit .329 with 32 homers and 111 RBIs. That's just one of the stories we're following today. Coach Norv Turner has decided to start Trent Green at quarterback when the Redskins host the Giants, and the U.S. national soccer team apparently has a new head coach, Bruce Arena, who led the D.C. United to the first 2 MLS Cups. A formal announcement is expected tomorrow. More on Bob Lee joins me on SportsCenter. Right now, let's go back to Chris.
Now on up close, the player everybody loves to rally around. Fresh off a Sunday night win over Carolina, Buffalo quarterback Doug Flutie takes us from the Hail Mary that was answered to an NFL rebirth. How has his big heart made up for his small size? He'll tell us about a cause greater than winning games and about having success on the run. Doug Flutie is up close, up next.
From the ESPN studios in Los Angeles, here's Chris Myers.
Hi, welcome to the show. Thanks for being with us and hope you had a good weekend. Our guest, truly one of the feel-good stories in the NFL this year. He went from a Heisman winner to a late NFL draft pick to out of the league to the CFL, where he won MVP awards and championships. Now he's back in the NFL and inspiring people everywhere across North America. He joins us from Boston. We welcome Doug Flutie of the Buffalo Bills. Hi, Doug. How you doing?
Pretty good, Chris.
I know you're a little bit tired. By the way, back in Boston visiting your family, correct? That's where home is.
Correct.
And coming off the Carolina game. So you flew from the Sunday night game. You have not slept at all?
No, not yet. We flew in, got in around 3 in the morning. I had to do a couple of radio shows that I do every Monday morning and flew out at 7 to get back here to visit my wife and kids for a couple of days anyway and get back tomorrow night.
All right, so a lot of demands on your time for a guy who had been pretty much forgotten around the NFL. Now it seems like people can't get enough of you. Do you like that?
I don't know. It kind of frustrates. Yeah, it's nice to be wanted, but it also frustrates you that I'm just doing the same thing I've been doing for years, and now all of a sudden they care, and that kind of doesn't sit well with me at times. But I'm just having fun playing football. Yeah,
well, Sunday night, the best game of your NFL career, 18 of 22, 282 yards, a couple of touchdowns in the 30-14 win over Carolina. Actually, your 3rd straight 200-yard game. How does the way you're playing now, though, compare to when you were in the CFL, winning all those awards and championships?
Very similar. I mean, I'm not throwing the ball near as much as I did up there. The game seems a lot shorter to me. Because, I don't know, I'd throw the ball 40, 45 times a game up there, and you'd have to make, I don't know, 10, 15 big plays in a game. Where in the NFL, usually you're making 2 or 3 big plays a game that can swing a game. It's just, you know, all the handing off and running of the football. We didn't do a lot of that up there.
Right, but so is that how you think of it? You don't think of numbers so much. You think of making big plays.
Yeah, it just... You know, within one drive in the CFL, in order to drive the ball, because it's 3-down football, you're throwing the ball upfield a lot more. And you need to make 2 or 3 big plays in a drive in order to stick the ball in the end zone. And in the NFL, usually 2 or 3 big plays is a good game for you. You know, maybe 4 or 5 in a game, but you know, up there you'll be making 2 or 3 in a drive.
All right, and your second quarter touchdown, a perfect pass on Sunday night to Eric Moulds against Carolina, but your first one, a little bit of an adventure. But I guess when things are going right, they fall in right. Tell us about that play.
He was heading up the seam, and he had a good shot at beating the guy up the seam. So I just stopped quick and tried to line drive it to him and get it over the DB's ear. And I short-armed the ball. It didn't get to where I wanted it to go, and it was a little underthrown. The DB got his head around, and Eric made a real nice play on the ball. He actually got his hand in there to break up the interception. Then the ball deflected up in the air, and he snatched it out of the air.
It helped on the way to another victory. Well, then the previous week, you pull off the upset over the then undefeated Jags. Just 13 seconds left. You score that winning touchdown on a bootleg and 4th and goal, and then jumping into the stands with the excitement. How was that moment? And I know you've tried to downplay a little bit, Doug, but how is that somewhat emblematic of your career?
I don't know. I've had a lot of those finishes, and see, that's the thing that amazes me is, you know, the people that have watched me play in the CFL, we've had, I don't know how many of those type finishes every year. And, you know, it was a win. It was a big win for us. It was an important win for us. And you put it behind you and you move on to the next one. And, you know, it just, I don't know. It is the type of thing that kind of symbolizes my career, that everybody parallels with me since the Miami pass. We had a bunch of those type of finishes in college. And, you know, so I don't know. It's something that it's kind of a trademark of my career, I guess.
But you've done other things and accomplished other things. Even in this case, leading the Bills to the victory over the Colts a couple of weeks ago when Rob Johnson left with the bruised ribs. His injury turning out to be a little bit more serious than first expected. Could miss maybe a few more weeks. At this point, and we love to talk about this, and fans love this, have you won the starting quarterback job with your play?
I don't think that's even an option. You know, Rob is the #1 guy. There's no doubt about that, and there's kind of an unwritten rule in the NFL too that you don't lose your job due to injury. Randall Cunningham's kind of in that situation where he's played extremely well, but once Brad Johnson is healthy, he's going to step back out on the field. I realize that's the situation with Rob. They've made a commitment to Rob, and he's the #1 guy. And, you know, his last time he was out on the field, we beat an undefeated San Francisco 49er team, and he played extremely well. So, I mean, it's just good to be in a position where I can contribute to this team and help us win some football games until Rob gets back.
All right, and you have said, though, and this is related in the bigger picture, that revenge is a good part of why I'm doing this. What did you mean by that? By doing this, coming back and playing in the NFL?
I don't know that I don't know that I said that. You know, coming back, the reason I came back was I won 3 championships up in Canada. I had accomplished a lot of things, and I wanted to take the next step. I wanted to take a shot at going to a Super Bowl, whether it's as a backup quarterback or, you know, maybe I'll win a handful of games here and put us in a position to make the playoffs, and Rob's the guy taking us into the playoffs in the Super Bowl. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to happen as the year goes on, but I wanted to take a run at that. I wanted to see what that was all about, and that was the primary reason I came back.
All right, but there's the perception, and we have to take a break here, but that the CFL just isn't as good as the NFL. I mean, that's the league, and that's why you wanted to come back here and prove something to maybe even yourself. Is that accurate?
No, not at all. I think that game is much more difficult on a quarterback. I don't know, but that game is much more reliant on their quarterback. A lot of NFL quarterbacks have been up there, got cut, come back to the NFL. I've seen that happen in a number of situations. Billy Joe Tolliver, Eric Kramer, Sean Salisbury. Yeah, there's a list, Marinovich, just a list of guys that have gone up there, and it's a different style of game.
All right, well, we're glad to have you in the NFL. We'll continue with Doug Flutie, joining us from Boston, visiting his family off the Sunday night game. Later, he'll tell you why you should be having Flutie flakes on your breakfast table. But up next, we'll talk about the CFL career, where he had all the success, the 3 Grey Cups, and we'll take a quick look back. He mentioned the play against Miami when he was at Boston College, one of the most memorable plays in the history of college football.
Up Close is presented by the document company Xerox. Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge.
People, today's agenda, the information age.
What happened to the industrial age?
That was last century.
Those were the days. You built it, you sold it.
No more living in the past. Today, it's not just what you make, it's what you know that matters.
He always gets so proactive around the millenniums.
All I know is they need help communicating down there. Look, he just quit, and years of knowledge are going out the door with him.
Isn't there a way to capture what he knows?
Over there, she's got thousands of documents on the network.
Finding the one she needs should be simpler.
He's got half a good idea over there, she's got the other half.
We get the picture.
What are we supposed to do about it?
Make it simpler for people to exchange ideas.
Share documents, have conversations.
Right, so they create knowledge they can use.
They'll need a digital office.
With new software.
New hardware.
Relax, I've got us a partner down there.
But they only make...
Not anymore, they don't.
Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge. The digital document company, Xerox.
Here at VMI, we were asked to try the new Norelco Advantage for 21 days. There was quiet dissension.
I'm not giving up my blade.
And anxious inquiry.
What the heck is this? Goo?
But then we started to realize the lotion actually gave us a closer, smoother shave than we expected, without the nicks and cuts like blades. Our fear diminished. Our hopes arose, and life got a little less hairy.
Come on, baby face, move it!
The new Norelco Advantage. Put it to the test. If you don't like it, they'll give you your money back, guaranteed.
There's a new line of benchtop and stationary tools out there from Rigid. A name professionals have trusted since 1923. Built to last, each one carries a lifetime warranty. Engineered for the serious woodworker to be the finest tools available. But there's one thing you should know. You're probably going to want a bigger garage. Rigid Tools, now at the Home Depot.
Been making my chunky chicken pot pie. It's back at KFC. Flaky crust, chunks of chicken, loads of veggies, just $3.99 with a drink. Now that's some meal. So come on in and bring your appetite.
An up-closer look at our guest, Doug Flutie, shows his 48 touchdown passes with Calgary, and 94 is the CFL single-season record that equals the NFL mark held by Dan Marino. Check out Up Close whenever you can, Monday through Friday. Get to know some of the biggest names in sports just a little bit better, and the newsmakers like Steve Atwater, the safety for the Broncos. He'll talk about Sunday's big win over Jacksonville and if they can stay unbeaten. When we come back, more with Doug Flutie. Stay with us. I know you will.
Dodge Ram was the first and is still the only full-size pickup to be ranked most appealing by J.D. Power & Associates. It was the first to offer a 10-cylinder engine, and it was the first quad-cabbed. And now, for the first time, we're offering $1,000 back on the truck that changed the rules. But hurry, this is one first that won't last. $1,000 cash back on 98 Rams ends November 9th.
Watch out. Once the crave gets you, it's gotcha. White Castle.
The college football game you want to see isn't on where you live and there's nothing you can do about it. Or is there? Imagine a place where the games you want to see are on every Saturday. A place where you can see up to 10 college matchups each weekend. Just order ESPN Game Plan, ESPN's pay-per-view college football package, and we'll bring you more of the games you've been missing, and all in your own backyard. Catch these great games this Saturday. To order, call DirecTV, Prime Star, Dish Network, or your cable company.
It was a moment that deserved a wow at the Orange Bowl in '84. No time left at 48 yards. Flutie to Phelan, Boston College beating Miami 47-45. And earlier this month, Doug Flutie went back to Chestnut Hill for his jersey retirement. And we're talking up close with Doug Flutie, who is joining us from Boston. Interesting that Heisman Trophy year in '84. Then you're selected in the NFL draft, Doug, but in the 11th round, and you opt for the USFL. And then after a year there, you get your first shot in the NFL with the Bears and Mike Ditka, who believed in you at that point. But at that point, where did you think your career was going?
Oh, I thought it would be going like it is now. You know, I would jump in somewhere and continue on. What happened was I signed with the USFL early on, and I signed a 6-year deal with Donald Trump for good money. And you know, so when the NFL draft came around, the Rams picked me up in a late round just to hang on to my rights in case something happened to the USFL. And then, you know, when the USFL went under, they had already drafted Jim Everett the following year, so traded my rights to Chicago, and Ditka brought me in. I thought I was going to have a great opportunity there, and it just didn't work out, primarily because of, you know, it was Jim McMahon's team at that time. They had won the Super Bowl the year before. Jim was a little banged up that year and was going to need shoulder surgery. And he kind of made things a little difficult on me between me and the other guys, and thought that Mike Tomczak and Steve Fuller deserved that opportunity first.
All right, but you ended up, after Chicago, playing 3 seasons with the Patriots, had an 8-5 record there as a starter, but then end up in Canada. Why at that point did you have to go to the CFL?
It was my best opportunity. You know, I was in a situation where we were 1-3 when I went into the lineup in New England. We won 7 out of 10 ball games that I played in, got ourselves in position to go to the playoffs. Tony Eason got healthy again at the end of the year. Tony went back in. We had a split of the last 2 games and wind up not making the playoffs. So when I was released by New England during the offseason, which always seems to happen with me. When, you know, it's like when I'm on the field, people don't, you know, they watch the guys, you know, rally behind you, you win ball games, you do some things that help win. Then during the offseason, it's like the personnel people sit back and say, you know, he is 5'9", 5'10". So, you know, maybe we should be looking for somebody else. And that's always happened in my career, that during the offseason, the doubters start showing up again. And so the CFL was my best option.
All right, but along the way, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying, hey, I need to prove to them I can play, or am I just having fun, or is it getting old after a while?
No, it's a career. At first, I went up there, I didn't know what to expect. And I had some resentment towards the NFL. But after about 3 or 4 years up there, I was having success. In my second season, I had tremendous success. And I just started to enjoy playing football again. It was fun to go out on the field and play. So I just assumed stay up there. You know, every time I became a free agent, I took a peek to see what my options were in the NFL. But I didn't like that. There were a couple opportunities maybe to sign and go to camp and all that, but no situation where I really thought they wanted me there and that I was going to be a big part of their team. So I just stayed where I was and bounced around a little within that league, looking for my best opportunity there, and just thoroughly enjoyed playing football for 8 years.
Yeah, and over that time, become really one of the best quarterbacks maybe in the history of the CFL, the 6 MVP awards, the 3 Grey Cup titles equivalent to a Super Bowl title in the NFL. How is, or is, Doug, the Canadian game more suited to your ability than the NFL?
I don't think it is. You know, the field's a little wider, so there's a little more space to work. But there's 12 men instead of 11 men, so it takes up a little bit of that space. It's football. You take your reads, you throw the ball. But because of 3-down football, the quarterback is relied on to make, instead of just taking your read, it not being there and throwing the ball away, you're relied on to pull it under and try to get 5 yards, to keep yourself in down and distance, to try to move the chains. And, you know, it just, that kind of fell into my lap a little bit where, you know, I could do that and move the chains a little better than some of the other guys. But for the most part, it's the same skills. You take your reads, you deliver the football.
All right, and he's moving the Bills to victories. We'll continue with Doug Flutie joining us from Boston. How has life off the field been more challenging for him than on the field? He'll address that when we come back up close.
Been making my chunky chicken pot pie. It's back at KFC. Flaky crust, chunks of chicken, loads of veggies, just $3.99 with a drink. Now that's some meal. So come on in and bring your appetite.
For great advice about digital technology, head for Circuit City. If you're looking for a DVD player, make sure you choose one with DivX. Only DivX enhanced DVD players play both DVD and DivX movie discs. DivX lets you watch DVD movies at home for about what it costs to rent, but you never have to return movies or pay late fees. Get this RCA DivX enhanced DVD player for just $399.99 and take home any 5 DivX movies free after rebate. Plug into DivX at Circuit City.
Well, we've been experimenting with a live studio audience. It's kind of catching on. The episode where we gave away the Dan Patrick Beanbag Buddies, that was a huge success. These little guys are valuable. People love them.
I'm not going to take a penny less than $300.
2 bills, take it or leave it.
I don't know how we're going to handle the crowd for the Charlie Steiner buddy. He sure is cute.
Mascot is down, code red. Please send backup.
Welcome back to Up Close, and thanks for staying with us. We're talking with Bills quarterback Doug Flutie off the Sunday night game in Boston, visiting his family. He hasn't gotten a lot of sleep, and we appreciate you staying awake with us here. I wanted to talk about the formation of the Douglas Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism. Your 6-year-old son, Dougie, suffers from autism. Let me first ask how he is doing and the day-to-day difficulty that provides for you.
He's doing pretty good. It's definitely slow. At age 3, he had withdrawn and had no vocabulary. He still basically has no vocabulary. But he kind of went into his own little shell world, wouldn't make eye contact, wouldn't acknowledge you in the room. And now he is much more aware of his surroundings, of himself, and doing things. But he still does, at age 6, still doesn't know how to use a fork, still is not toilet trained. He is a handful because it's like having an infant that can open and unlock doors, that can climb out windows, that can climb up into the back of the piano or up shelves and over counters, and you know, so it is a handful, but you know, he's making progress slowly but surely.
Yeah, and how, so he had been doing fine until about, you said, the age of 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden one day there was a change, and what do doctors tell you why something like this happens?
Yeah, they don't know. They really don't know. When he was 2.5, he was speaking in full sentences, a typical, normal little 2.5-year-old, shooting a little basketball in his little tyke soup and sitting down and watching TV with you and all that. He had, you know, he went from there to the extreme of having no attention of anything at all. So I don't, you know, it just, there's no real explanation for it. Something just, it's more like a short circuit as far as his communicative skills.
I have 2 sons of my own, and the first reaction at some point like this would be, you know, this is not fair. You know, I can handle it. You can say, hey, I can handle it, but for him, this isn't right. How do you deal with that?
I think we deal with it, you know, we feel that way at times, and you get frustrated, but the bottom line is he is very happy. He'll light up a room when he walks into it. He smiles. To look at him physically, you wouldn't know there's a thing wrong with him until he tries to talk or tries to communicate. But he is very happy. He's always smiling, always laughing. It doesn't have a care in the world. And because of that, it makes it a lot easier on us rather than a situation where, say, he was in some pain or he understood. He doesn't understand that he's different from anyone else. So it makes it a little easier in that light.
Now, what are the possibilities, Doug, of his condition improving, or of research or people in medicine finding ways to help?
His condition is pretty extreme. The prognosis is not real healthy or not real good that he will gain speech and his communicative skills. He will probably be dependent on my wife and I for the rest of his life. But there is kind of a new find that came up with an enzyme called secretin that, as a side effect for, it was being treated, an autistic child was being treated for stomach problems. And within the week, or within a couple of days, started talking after being administered this enzyme. So it was more of a side effect than anything. And from what I understand, they've had about a 50% success ratio with some of these kids. So that, you know, hope is there, and we're looking into that right now, as well as a bunch of other people are looking into it.
And it is Dougie, we call him, and the foundation, you used half of your signing bonus to start the foundation. Also, the other half you gave to the Hunter Hope Foundation for Jim Kelly's cause and the story with his son. What has this, and you've had a lot of ups and downs, as we just talked about in your football career, Doug. What has this taught you, and what has your son taught you?
It just puts football in perspective. Everybody gets so carried away on Sunday. It's life or death. You know, you see the people dressing up, tailgating for 48 hours before a game, and it's the most important thing in the world. And it's not. It's football. And 10 years from now, no one is really going to care who won the game last Sunday. 10 years from now, I'm going to have a 16-year-old son who probably still can't dress himself in the morning and needs to be taken care of. So, you know, it definitely puts things in perspective. It's allowed me to just go out and play football and relax and enjoy playing the game for what it is and worry about life.
Did you think about retiring at all through this difficult time?
Oh, definitely. The last couple of years, in order for Dougie to make progress, we had to leave him in school down here in the Boston to keep him in a consistent program. So my wife and I have spent a lot more time apart, as well as my kids. And it's been very difficult on us, and it's become very frustrating at times. So that'll be the determining factor, I think, not my health and all. If we can work that end of it out and get through that, then I'll continue to play. If that becomes a bigger struggle, then that'll determine when I decide to retire.
And you do have another child, right?
I have a daughter, Alexa, who's 10.
A daughter, and she's fine.
She's perfectly healthy, a soccer player, plays the piano, and is doing everything.
All right. Don't want to leave her out of the conversation. I wanted to mention that earlier this month, the Flutie Flakes hit grocery stores, and a large portion of the proceeds go to fight autism. How are they selling, by the way? I imagine with your performance, they're probably taking off.
The power of the NFL is unbelievable. They can't keep them on the shelves. They had to limit it to one per customer, and they still sold out in the day when they got their new shipment in.
What are they? Are they like Frosted Flakes or wheat flakes?
It's a frosted corn flake that, you know, it's a good tasting cereal. It's a sugar cereal. For all your health-conscious moms. You know, it was just something that the food company came to me with the idea, and then we turned it around and made it a part of the foundation, and it's really gone over huge in the Buffalo and in the Boston area.
All right, and people from around the country, the Giving Back Fund, the phone number is 617-556-2820. That's 617-556-2820 for Flutie Flakes. So before we break, back in '96, you and your band, the Flutie Brothers Band, released their first album CD entitled Catch This. And you play the drums. Your brother Darren, who's playing excellent wide receiver up in the CFL, he plays guitar in this band. We had it on here in the studio. The guys in the crew thought it was pretty good. Is this kind of just a fun escape for you?
Definitely just a fun thing.
How do you find time to play music with all the other things going on?
During the off season, it's something my brother and I we've had a band together for about 6 to 8 years now, and I've been playing for about 15 years, and so has he, and it's just for fun. We're like a garage band, just having fun, messing around, play cover tunes, and decided to put it down on a CD to have for ourselves, and it got a little bigger than that, you know, up in the cities I was playing with in Canada, and then down here in the Boston area, but it more or less is just for fun.
So but a garage band, right?
Basically,
okay,
yeah.
Well, that's how Hootie and the Blowfish started, so hang in there. We'll continue with Doug Flutie. How much more football does he have left? He touched on that a little bit, but winning the Super Bowl or getting them in Buffalo to a Super Bowl, a challenge that might be even too much for Doug to handle. We'll be back in a minute.
Put you in a
new GMC Yukon
Denali.
No payments ever.
Visit any Red Roof Inn before October 31st and enter to win a new
Yukon Denali. And the price?
I'm giving it away.
No payments ever. Imagine.
Yeah.
I'll do this. A new Yukon Denali from Red Roof Inn.
Plus, you could win a year's worth of AT&T prepaid calling. Every guest gets a free AT&T prepaid card. Call us crazy. But call us today.
And with a smile. Call 1-800-THE-ROOF. Red Roof Inns. Nice people and an honest value.
Rogaine Extra Strength works for 4 out of 5 men.
What do you mean works?
Regrows hair, or at least stops hair loss.
My luck, I'll be that 5th guy.
Probably not. But here's our guarantee. Give Rogaine Extra Strength an honest chance. You be the judge. It stops hair loss, or regrows hair, more hair, thicker hair, faster, or we give your money back. Guaranteed. Rogaine Extra Strength works for you, or your money back.
I can't lose.
Whether it's the scorching plains of the Serengeti or the hot lights of Atlantic City, once you see the spots, it's already too late. This Halloween, the hottest costume is going to have spots. Nassim Hamed, this Saturday on HBO.
Sometimes during a game, you can work up a pretty good appetite. How you doing? One dog. One mustard, please. Thanks, Matt. You bet.
Hey, can we get some fries in the penalty box?
Up Close is presented by the document company Xerox. Keep the conversation going. Share the knowledge.
We have just a couple of minutes left with Doug Flutie. And Doug, you said that the next step is to win a Super Bowl, then maybe I can retire in peace. Peace from what?
I don't know. Just feel good about yourself and what you've done. Every year that I've played, you're only happy during the offseason if you've won it all. 3 times I've got to enjoy my offseason. Every other time you lost your last game, and it's very frustrating. So that's where that in peace type of thing, you've got to win your last game or you're not happy. And yeah, it's a long shoot. I may not get on the field again. We may not win another game in Buffalo. But I want to take a run at the playoffs. I put this team into the playoffs, and let's see what happens. And that's what it's all about. Everybody the bottom line is you're in it to win championships.
And you turned 36 just last Friday, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
Would you trade all the success you had in the CFL for one Super Bowl ring here in the NFL, even in a backup role?
Not. Definitely not.
No.
I wouldn't trade those days for anything. I thoroughly enjoyed playing football in the CFL, and I'm very proud of the things I've accomplished up there. And that league does not get enough credit. There are players every year that bounce back and forth from that league down to this league, and it's a tremendous football league.
All right, well, continued success in Buffalo. Get some rest, by the way. Guy hasn't slept since the Sunday night game. Really, thanks a lot. I know the viewers appreciate you putting in the extra time to chat with us, especially the way things are going for you. And best with the foundation and the family.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We appreciate Doug Flutie of the Bills joining us from Boston. And hope you'll be with us on Tuesday. Steve Atwater of the Broncos will join us. We'll talk about that Jacksonville game. And then Wednesday, Randall Cunningham of the unbeaten Vikings. Thanks for watching Up Close. Stick around for Mike Tirico, who's up next.